myself, right?
Yes, sir.
I am Dr. Kulbir Singh Rana. I'm working with Sports Authority of India as a sports physiotherapist, right? And I have completed my master's in sports physiotherapy from Jamia Ahmedabad, and I have completed my doctorate in sports sciences, right, in 2021. So today, what topic we have decided to take is aerobic versus anaerobic exercises, right?
Yes.
Okay, can you see the screen now?
Yes. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, may I know what both of you know about aerobic and aerobic exercises? How you perceive what kind of exercise it is?
So aerobic exercise is one which utilizes the oxygen.
Mhm.
And in anaerobic exercises, there is no utilization of the oxygen. Basically, the major difference is this.
Okay, so see, during the presentation, we'll be discussing these points, right? First of
Yes.
all, type of exercises. What all type of exercises we deal with? Aerobic, anaerobic, and according to the sports specific exercises like calisthenic, plyometrics, and all those. I think you are very aware about these terms, right?
Yes, sir.
And anaerobic and aerobic exercises are basically every exercise, whatever it is, they are basically they rely on two systems: anaerobic system and aerobic system, right? So first of all, what are aerobic and anaerobic exercises? So according to definition, aerobic exercises are the exercises which need oxygen as a fuel to convert the existing body fuels into the energy source for the muscles, for cardiovascular, and all those endurance things, right? So that's why we sometimes we use word cardio, because it is a long term base of exercises. When we do aerobic exercises, it's not like a short burst of exercises. They are any activity above 1 or 2 minutes of duration, right? They are called as aerobic exercises. And anaerobic, on the other hand, they use short burst of exercises like sprinting, weightlifting, jogging, jumping. These kind of activities are basically anaerobic in nature. Why they are anaerobic? Because they, by the time you consume oxygen through your system and transport it to the muscular level, by the time that activity has been completed, so that oxygen what we are consuming is not required as a fuel for the exercises. That's why we call them anaerobic exercises, right? And when we compare these two set of exercises, so aerobic exercises basically are those which are used in cardiovascular conditioning. Type of exercises which are used in cardiovascular conditioning means more of the work will be related to cardiovascular things, like the heart, the lungs. They'll be pumping the oxygen through the system, and the oxygen will be utilized at the cellular level. And by utilization of oxygen, the ATP will be provided to the system for further working, right? So it is basically prolonged exercises. And when we go to anaerobic one, they are short duration, short burst of exercises, which include jumping, sprinting, lifting heavy weights, and they require more of power and strength, not the endurance and stamina, right? And whenever your respiration starts, you have seen that you are taking inspiration, expiration, you're doing all those oxygen consumption you are doing. So, what is the main source of energy of aerobic workout? It's oxygen. But why we are always relying on oxygen for longer duration of exercises? But at the end of aerobic exercises, like if it will go beyond 1 hour or 1 hour 20 minutes, Then again, the source of energy comes from anaerobic also. So they sometimes the functioning of the body is not dependent on single set of system. It is like both of the system has to work simultaneously, right? During exercises, the body requires immediate energy. Okay, when body requires immediate energy, then what it has to use as a fuel, it has to use as a fuel, it will use ATP PCR, phosphocreatinin, or either it will use, or either it will the deplete the glycogen from the muscle source, right? Then it will go to the system, and that lactate will be generated, and it will further give the energy to the body. Okay, then when we compare the benefits of aerobic and anaerobic exercises, aerobic have a lot of benefits, but when comes to sports training or some high intensity workout or some uh, thing we know, which we need to do instantly, so that time it's anaerobic system works a lot more. So we have to train both simultaneously, the aerobic and anaerobic system both, right? So aerobic exercises are beneficial to us because it reduces the blood pressure, it give us a soothing effect, it's have a very calm nature because it's gradually progressing, it doesn't have anything like any hazardous effect or anything which gives intense effect on any system. So during this the fatigue is also less, but during anaerobic exercise or strength training, the fatigue to the muscle and wear and tear is more. So they are safer, they are better exercises rather than anaerobic exercises. But risk may include because when we train more than the expected time, so risk will be cardiovascular system will be stressed more. So you have to maintain the thing, like how much duration we have to do, how much intensity we have to do, what has to be the training heart rate, and these things we have to monitor continuously. Then anaerobic exercises, it burns basically it's strengthen the bones, muscles. It is strengthening exercises. Uh, only hazardous effect is, but we cannot do these exercise for longer duration, and this can add on to wear and tear to the muscles. Okay, uh, this can be like very uh, strenuous activities. So we have to do every resistance training with caution. Okay, this is have you seen the exertion scales? So on that exertion scales, every exercise of high intensity, it has been rated from 1 to 10. 10. Okay, then 10 is maximum exertion, and 1 is least. So we have to start from the whenever we'll do training, we have to gradually train from 1 to 10. Then we have to and continuously we can monitor their systemic things like heart rate, cardiac, and everything has to be monitored continuously. And then it comes to how often. Actually, main thing is what we do exercises, but how often and how much we have to do. That has to be very precise in nature according to individuals, because exercise is a individualistic approach. We cannot prescribe every exercise to every individual because every body is different, every one training environment is different, everyone diet is different, everyone it's like any persistent disease or trauma or anything injury previous. So we have to customize the exercise routine as per the individual. And what American Heart Association, what they recommend? They recommend that any exercises has to be aerobic, especially aerobic, because they can do at least 5 days a week, 25 more minutes of vigorous activities 3 days a week. If we'll go vigorous, then we have to do 3 days a week. If we'll go mild to moderate, then we can do 5 days a week. And every 3 sessions or 2 sessions, we have to take one session off or one day off in between, so that we can have recovery completely. And anaerobic exercises, on the other hand, we can never do a 5 day continuously anaerobic exercise or like that. Okay, we have to maintain at least alternate days, at least 24 to 48 hours of recovery time has to be in between the 2 sessions of anaerobic workout. Then how long it should be? Uh, when we comes to that anaerobic one, it will be in sets and repetitions. And when we comes to aerobic, it will be in minutes, 10 minutes of exercise, 20 minutes of exercise, 30 minutes of exercise. So that has to be seen. uh, you must be knowing the target heart rate, right? Uh, target heart rate, you know.
Yes, sir.
So target heart rate, how we will count?
So target heart rate is the heart rate which you will ask the patient to perform the exercise. So basically, there are different methods of calculating the target heart rate. In aerobic, we can
Mhm.
calculate it by using the heart rate maximum or VO2 max, or by going through the Cowan's formula. Even Bog's rating of perceived exertion can be used. So
Yeah.
several methods
So,
are there.
you are knowing about target heart rate, right? Target heart
Yes.
rate, whenever we take a target heart rate, it has to be activity related. Like if we are doing a 100-meter sprint, or we are doing a 300, 400-meter sprint, or we are doing a marathon running. So it has to be target heart rate that maximum 80% of the target heart rate. We cannot go beyond that during the training time. Okay. And when we go on the competition, it has to touch to the maximum to 90 to 100, right? Because whenever we peak, we need recovery also. So in the competition period, we can touch that target heart rate up to 100% or 90 and above. But during training, we always keep that target heart rate around 80, 80 and below. Okay. And that maximum heart rate, what we say that you can say, uh, you count as 220 minus age. Okay. Then that heart rate we never touch, because the maximum heart rate, if you touch, then it is strenuous to the cardiovascular system. So whenever we train in a way that we go to the maximum heart rate level about 70%, 80%, and then we move above gradually, right? So then this is the exercise, aerobic and anaerobic. But because before every exercise session we warm up, and after every exercise session we cool down. So why we need warming up and why we need cool down? Uh, can you explain, or do you know anything? Ki warming up and cool down, why we require these things?
So warm up is basically needed to get the body ready for further exercises, so that there is no strain or strains occurring in the body.
Okay,
To
that's great. Now you tell me, if we are having a competition of a
yes,
100-meter sprinter, right?
yes, sir.
He has to do sprinting after 10 to 20 minutes. So what
Yes.
all things will add on in the warm-up of a 100-meter sprinter, and what all things will add on in a person who has to go for marathon run? So, what will be the difference between their warm up? Can you do you know something about the how to customize the warm ups?
So not in very detail, but
Mhm.
as far as I know, for the sprinters, we'll be applying short, brisk walking exercises or such exercises which utilize their carbohydrate loading. and
Okay.
preserve energy for further game. And for
Mhm.
the marathon runners, we'll be concentrating, I guess, more over the aerobic part to conserve the aerobic portion. The
See, that's what I want to say. If
Yes, sir.
if the athlete is, you can say marathon runner, right?
Yes,
If we'll consume his aerobic capacity in the warm up itself, right? Then
yes, sir.
it will reduce his stamina further
Performance. Yes,
in the process of running, right?
yes, sir.
So we need to preserve those aerobic area. And in the sprinter we cannot we cannot add sprints or small brisk walking and all, because that will further consume its creatine phosphate and all these stores, ATP stores,
Yes, sir.
what he need instantly. So
Yes, sir.
how you can judge that what kind of warm up we have to do? See, what we do usually when we warm up a athlete who is a sprinter, right?
Yes, sir.
What we suggest ki sprinter has to use the maximum ranges. Maximum ranges he has to use, because he will do maximum strides while running. He will
Yes,
use
sir.
his arms to the maximums, right? So that ranges has to open, right? But in
Yes,
marathon runner, we don't need to open the ranges that much. He'll be running continuously, but within a smaller ranges, right?
yes, sir.
So what actually thing is that there has the warm up is main thing. It warms your body, it soothen your muscles, and it open the joints to up to the level what is required during the activities, right?
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
So that's what we do. What we do in a sprinter, we'll do one thing. We'll add on the free like of exercises which will open his joints. Okay, you can say calisthenics, that lunges, that strides and all, so that we can open his ranges. Okay, we'll not
Yes,
make him sprint or run here and there. We'll just walk around and just shake his muscles and do some that relaxation work and open up his ranges. Okay, that kind of warm up activities we can do with a sprinter, right? And with a
yes, sir.
marathon runner, what we can do, we can add on a little bit of sprints with him. Like you go for a run, so that his body will get heat up, because he will definitely he'll be more relying on the aerobic system, which will come uh, after at least 1 to 2 minutes of exercises, right? So we can do those things. We don't need to open the full ranges or full stretching and all those sessions we need because it will stretch a muscle of a endurance runner more, right? Then during while he will be running, his energy sources in the muscle will be depleted. When it will stretch, definitely it will consume the energy, right, during the stretches. And furthermore, he can get cramps and all on the later aspects of the that marathon run, right? So what my point is here, that we need to be very focused upon of activity what we are doing and what kind of warm-ups we need for that, right? And warm up, ideally, it should not go long, okay, that we will keep on warm upping for 10, 20, 30 minutes. We need to keep the warm up session very brisk and very focused on what area we need, right? And why, cool down is also a very, very important aspect, more than warm up also. See, warm ups will definitely it's a crucial, but what cool down is there, cool down, you have to replenish yourself with the fluids, with everything, whatever we have lost during the exercises. We have to maintain the ranges. Sometimes what happen, due to training or due to that dehydration to the muscular level, the muscle gets stiffs. So that at that time we have to be very cautious. Like during cool down also, what area we need to focus. Same way, if two kind of athletes are coming, their cool down will be different, right? As I have told, the sprinters, what kind of cool down will be, because their muscles will be more of lactic acid accumulation will be there, more of the thing. So we can add on reverse walking, reverse jogging, light spin, so that we add on some aerobic exercise, so that the oxygen to that area reaches, and that will help them to recover uh, with the lactic acid they have accumulated in the muscles, right? And then we can add on the stretches and all. And for the marathon runner, what we'll do, we'll again ask him to come down, and we'll do more of that foam roller kind of thing, so that we can relax his muscles. Okay, he's already been, but if he'll stress those muscles more, because his muscles are very very you can say it's like because they are working for a longer duration of time, there'll be micro traumas, micro tears, so we cannot stress those muscles immediately. Okay, so that kind of thing, that kind of cautions we have to take as a physical therapist if we are there with them, right? So this is basically what we have discussed now about aerobic and anaerobic systems, and what kind of exercises are there. So now, what approach we usually take is better together. Means whenever we train an athlete, we never train a marathon runner only in aerobic systems. We train his anaerobic activities also. Why so? Can you elaborate if why we need anaerobic exercise routine in between for the marathon runner? Hello,
No idea, sir.
no idea. See,
No, sir.
a marathon runner basically, have you seen marathons?
Yes, sir.
Professional marathon, have you seen? Like in Olympics, or whenever they do the marathon start, how they start? Have you seen how they start the marathons?
No, sir.
See, every marathon runner, whenever you observe them in the beginning, they'll sprint. Have you seen? They'll run very fast. Everybody will be like,
Yes, sir.
why they are running fast? They'll be depleting of their
Yes, sir.
energy sourcing much. Have you seen them? They'll start very fast,
Yes,
usually.
sir.
Initially, see, nowadays it's a trend, but initially they used to start at a slower pace, and then they'll keep on increasing and all. But nowadays, what a trend is, see, every muscle, whenever we train them to whatever level, every muscle has some glycogen stores, right? Every
Yes, sir.
muscle has some ATPs in it. Every muscle has some phosphocreatinin that is there, right? And that thing, those things, it will work only one maximum 1 to 1.5 minutes.
Yes,
Right?
sir.
So those first 1.5 minutes, why to waste that thing? If we are having those things within, why to waste that thing? So what we do, we just ask the marathon athletes, just first minute or 1 or 2 minutes, you run fast, so that your the system of aerobic and that ATP, PCR, that whatever stores are there, they'll be getting utilized. And whenever these things will be utilized, the muscle will feel what kind of hungry, right? Hunger for more nutrition. So that time the aerobic system will take over more faster than the, if we will start slowly, then it will be taking over slowly. But it will, if it will start faster, it will take over faster, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So that, and the same way, what have you seen the middle distance runner, 400 to 800? Seen that thing?
No, sir.
See, 400 and 800 meters, they are middle distance runner. So they'll be relying on the both systems. They'll be relying in the first 50 meter or 100 meter, they'll be relying more on ATP, PCR, glycogen kind of stores. But later on, they'll be needing the stores of oxygens also, right? So that time we train them accordingly, so that their aerobic capacity is also good, and their muscle power in the strength and initial that boost, because the every white fiber whatever is reacting very fast, right, they'll be having some kind of limitations at what time they'll provide you these things, right? So I think you'll better understand the from next things. See, when we talk about aerobic and anaerobic, we have to know about the energy systems, right? You must have heard energy systems.
Yes, sir.
Okay, there are three kind of energy systems. You know, phosphogen, anaerobic glycolysis, or aerobic. Three kind of energy systems are there, right? See, can you see the graph below?
Yes, sir.
In this you see first this line, the slanting line, this is ATP system. But ATPs are stored already, they will be the first energy provider to the muscle, right? Whenever we'll start running, first of all whatever energy stores are there in the form of ATPs, they'll be utilized first, right? Then comes the, and it will be maximum 2 seconds. First, initially 1 2 minutes, maximum 2 minutes, right? But first 1 or 2 second initially, first of all, what will come there? ATPs. Then second line you have seen, this is creatine phosphate. Creatine phosphate is again, it's an enzyme. What will it will do? ATP, there are ATP and ADP, you know, adenosine diphosphate. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Then creatinine will be broken into creatinine and phosphate. The phosphate will again join the ADPs, whatever are present in the system. So it will again convert into ATP and add on the more energy to the system. So that PCR system, it will again go maximum up to 10 minutes, right?
Yes, sir.
It is their limit. But when the aerobic system, that you can see the last line, this one is the dotted line. The aerobic system initially in 2 minutes, it is nowhere. It's not providing you any energy. But after 2 minutes, it's coming up, right? So when after 2 to 10 minutes, the both systems, the anaerobic and aerobic, they'll be providing some energy to the system. More will be from the anaerobic part, but the aerobic also taking over from here, right? And the above line is energy. What energy is? Initially there is more energy, it will close slowly it will be depleted at the end. But when you can see the aerobic and the energy line are going from 60 minutes to above, they are going very like they are in close relationship. So that means every energy after 60 minutes they'll be provided by only aerobic system, right? See, okay, look at these two tables. First is strength training method, what kind of energy is utilized, and what will be the time duration, and what kind of activities are performed with what kind of energy system. This is for that thing, right? See, first of all, you can see this aerobic and anaerobic system. Anaerobic system is first of all two types, right? Alactic and lactic acid. Alactic means the phosphocreatinine system, which will be ATP and directly, and phosphocreatinine will be there. And lactic acid, when lactic acid will take over, when the glycogen of the muscle will be broken down into glucose and lactic acid, right? That time it will be lactic cycle. So you can see from the table that power from first second to 6 second, it will be more in the alactic cycle, but the capacity will be maximum to 6 to 8 minutes, not more than that, right? And the same way you can say the lactic acid, it will start from 8 minutes to 20 minutes it will go, and the maximum limit will be 60 seconds, like for up to 1 hour or of activity, some kind of energy will be provided by lactic acid system, which will be like broken of the glucose stores or glycogen from the stored muscles. Okay, and the type of activities what you have seen below, that is muscle strengthening and power. Okay, and then the in the lactic acid will be muscle strength, power and endurance. Some kind of endurance activities will take off from here, from 20 minutes. Okay, then from 20 to 60, more of endurance will come, and the muscle of power endurance, everything will be going simultaneously, right? Then comes to aerobic. Aerobic is more of oxygen dependent. It will initially what we see 1 to 2 seconds. It will be providing you very minimum and maximum up to 8 minutes. It can go, not more than that initially. Okay, then above 8 it can go up to 120 minutes, and in this duration it will provide you every that muscle endurance activities. Okay, and muscle lactate activities, uh, everything will be continuously going through the aerobic system. Can you understand this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then it comes to track and field events. See, it is strength training models. What the kind of energy systems are required to doing that sprints or strengthening kind of activities. What kind of system is working, right? And then it comes to track and field events are basically more of aerobic, right? Then in 100 meter, that sprinters, see what we were talking initially, 100 meter of sprints, they will use 53% of their activities, means 53% of their energy through ATP PCR system, right? In 200-meter athlete, it will be 26%, and 400 it will be 12%, right? 800 meter athlete, it will be 6%, and then you go to glycogen system, it will be 33 from glycogen, and aerobic system, it will be 80% in 1500 of athletes, 1500 meter athletes. Can you see?
Yes, sir.
Sorry. Okay. uh, do you understand this?
Yes, sir. We were able to.
See, uh, what we what I am trying to say, the energy system contribution in the field events will be according to this percent. Like in 100 meter, the maximum energy will be ATP PCR. Then it will be lactic acid, which will be providing you 44%, 3% by aerobic, right?
Aerobic.
That will be in 100 meter athlete. That will be sprinters, right?
Yes.
Then 200-meter sprinters, it will be more 20 seconds of an activity will be there. 26% will come from ATP PCR, 45% will come from glycogen stores, and 29% will come from aerobic activities.
Aerobic.
See, as the duration of the exercise increases, the contribution of aerobic will increase, and the contribution of anaerobic will decrease,
Please.
right?
Yes, sir.
And at the last, when marathon only the triglycerides. Triglycerides, do you know triglycerides? What do you mean by triglycerides?
So we know it in the lipid profile.
Okay, you know in the lipid profile, but have you seen if somebody say triglycerides are increased? What do you understand by that thing, that report? That it is something. It is depletion of your muscles, right? It's
Yes.
breaking down. When marathon in more than 2 hours or 10 minutes marathon, 80% will energy will come from aerobic system. Nothing will come from aerobic, right? But the 20% energy will be coming from what have you seen the energy contribution cycle? Have you heard about it? Like initially it will be from glucose, then
Yes, sir.
glycogen stores,
Yes.
then it will come from fats, then it come from protein, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So those triglycerides are basically fats, right? Triglycerides are fats. So
Yes,
that
sir. Yes.
that energy will be from the fat deposition. So after consumption of the energy from the aerobic system, the muscle in the marathon, they'll take their energy from the fat deposits from the muscular or intramuscular areas. So that will be a source for 20% of their energy in a marathon runner, right?
Yes, sir.
So this is the contribution of their energies, right?
Yes, sir.
So I think this is it, right? And few points we'll be discussing in later, because this is a smaller, this is the review of metabolic responses to exercises, right? Then in the next class, from here onwards, we'll do what kind of sports specific demands and how to train specifically, right?
Okay,
These
sir.
two three areas will cover in next session, right?
Okay, sir.
Okay,
You can
sir.
ask questions.
So, like, we have not been into much of sports thing. So, today it was just the initial part. But for further classes, would you recommend us coming reading something already about different sports or something which we should go for?
Yeah, sure. See, I'll be taking more of, I think, sports related topics. So,
Yes, sir.
for next class, if on this topic only, we'll elaborate more that metabolic effects of exercises. If you can go through that, that will be further, because at the level of PhD students, I think we
Yes.
need an interaction session, not the class training,
Yes,
right?
sir. For sure.
So
Yes, sir.
next time we can discuss the things. You can come up with literature, some of things we discussed, right, on anaerobic, aerobic activities and systems. So we can discuss in next class, right?
Okay, sir.
Okay. Ask questions if you have regarding this session.
Sir, I have a question.
Okay.
Sir, initially, during any sport activity,
Mhm.
the initial source of energy is usually ATP,
Yes.
which for how long does ATP provide energy before the involvement of phosphocreatine?
See, I have. That's what you have seen this slide.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
See, this ATP will be providing maximum to 2 minutes, right?
Okay, sir.
By the time at 2 minutes, the stored ATP will be utilized already. Okay, then 2 to 10 minutes, it will be again ATPs, but that will be ATP found by ADP and PCR. Okay,
Okay,
that
sir.
ATP will be found by ATP PCR system. Okay, that will not be the stored ATP. So ATP will be by the 10 minutes, but 2 to 10 minutes will be from ATP PCR system, and up to 2 minutes will be already which are stored in the system, right? So that will be the energy source, right?
And sir, this continues for every sport.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
okay,
a kind of energy system which is naturally inbuilt. This
okay,
is what in a sports what we can change is amount of ATP stores, but the
yes, sir.
ATP will be utilized within 2 minutes only. But we
Okay,
can
sir.
increase the stores so that burst of activity will be more intense, right? So
Okay, sir.
those things will do, but the system will be the same, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
if we'll train a sprinter, right? What we'll train for? We'll not train for that he'll be utilizing the ATPs for 15 minutes or 20 minutes. That's not possible. But will be if for example if he's having 100 ATPs in a store, we can increase those stores to 200 to 250 ATP stores, right? We can increase their muscle mass, muscle fiber length, so that they can store more ATPs, right? So that can be increased, but that will be utilized within 2 minutes only,
Okay,
right?
sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, again, any question?
No
No,
question.
sir.
No questions.
No, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, then in the next session, you come read about the energy systems.
Okay,
Okay,
sir.
Okay.
then metabolic effect, that is short term and long term metabolic effect of exercises on on every muscular and cardiovascular systems, right? Those things we'll discuss, and then we'll discuss the sports specific utilization of the energy systems, right? What energy
Okay.
systems, how we utilize in what kind of training, and rehab also. We'll discuss rehab, right? Because as a perspective of a physiotherapist, what we do this training part to basically prevention of exercises, prevention of injuries,
Injuries.
right? When we do injury prevention strategies, what we plan in Sai, what we are working recently, we are not working on rehabilitation. So obviously that if any athlete is injured, we are working on their rehabilitation, but more on before rehabilitation, more we are working on prevention part. So prevention part, these things works a lot. See, we know the athlete is a 100-meter sprinter, and he can what maximum injuries he can get. He can get hamstring. He can get these quadriceps or hamstring sprains, strains. All those things he can get. He can get ankle twist. He can get those activities. So the prevention strategies include these things, like how we'll improve his muscle strength, how we'll improve his muscle health, his ATP stores, his everything, his biomechanical analysis will do, so that we can have idea that what he is predisposed to, what kind of injury he can get. So we work on those prevention aspects of the sports injuries, so that we can get the athlete who will be very least injured. See, traumatic injuries, accidental injuries, equipment failure, falls, pulls, collisions, they are a part of sports. We cannot prevent those things, but definitely the training things we can prevent, like the muscle failures, muscle cramps, muscle pull, muscle tear. Those things we can uh, work upon if we'll work initially, so that we can prevent the injuries, right?
Right.
So these training aspects will come handy when you will work on these prevention strategies, right?
Okay, sir.
So next class we'll study more, and I think we'll discuss more. Next time I'll come with a small presentation, and then we'll have a discussion of. But at least you also come up with your points, right?
Okay,
So
sir.
that we can discuss, right?
Fine, sir. Fine. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, welcome. Bye bye. Besides, we can end the class, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Bye.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome. Welcome.